Alright guys, what is up? Sensei Swole back on the channel. First week back into the swing of things. So why not do a recipe video? The last one took off pretty well with the high protein, low calorie, low carb oats. Now the next one is going to be a dessert one, which is my high protein ice cream recipe. So this is basically going to give you almost half a liter or more of protein ice cream for less than 200 calories, about 25 grams of protein, and it tastes awesome. You can have it straight away, put it in the freezer for a bit, have it at night, and it takes less than 5 minutes to prep and make. So we're going to get into the video in a sec. Now before I do, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And yeah, so we're going to do the same thing I did in my last video. Going to do a voiceover showing you guys what you need, how we're going to mix it up, and how we're going to prep this delicious high protein, low calorie dessert. Alright guys, back at it with another recipe video. I'll be doing this voiceover style again, showing you guys exactly what ingredients you need. So all the ingredients and all the tools, and then getting into the method. So first up, I'm getting my protein powder of choice, which is an isolate protein by Biotech, tiramisu flavor. Next up, I'm getting a casein product, which is a Muscle Nation casein custard protein powder using the golden ice cream flavor. So for everything else, we've got a cup of water here, about 200 mils of water. We've got our blender cup, which I'm going to chuck into the NutriBullet blender in just a minute, as well as our massive bowl here, which we're going to pop all the ice cream into, because it's going to be a ridiculous serving size once we finish here. Just grabbing some ice in here as well, so it's about 300 grams of ice going into this bowl, which will be used for today's recipe. So once again, the isolate protein, casein custard by Muscle Nation, blender cup, water, and of course the bowl here, which has some ice to use for this recipe as well, 300 grams or so. So first thing first is I'm going to get this water and chuck it in, so it's about 200 mils going in right now. Next up, we're going to add the 300 grams of ice in here. Now we're going to add our scoop of casein powder. So you can use any product. I'm just using this one here today. So 1 scoop going into the blender cup here now. And then next up, we're also going to get our protein powder of choice. So my tiramisu isolate. So I'm not going to go for a full scoop. I'm going to go for about half a scoop of this into the recipe. One little extra I'm going to add into it is the Stevie's sugar-free maple syrup. Now, first up, I like to put this on the high setting and leave it on there for about 50 seconds or so, possibly a minute. So we're going to let this blend up for now, and I'll show you guys how the consistency will look like at the end of this first minute on high. Now, after the first minute, it can still be a bit chunky, as you can see here, because not all of it will blend through perfectly unless you're using a bigger blender or one of those jug-sized blenders that you can also get. I do actually have one, but I'm being a bit lazy here today. I didn't want to get it out. So what I'm going to do is just shake this around a little bit. Now we're going to pop it back onto the blender, and we're going to put it on the high setting again for another 40 seconds or so. As you can see here, it's blending through much more smoothly now. So I'm going to pop it off now, and we're going to see how it's looking before we pour it out into our massive ice cream bowl. I personally use a spoon to help bring it out, otherwise it can be stuck to the insides and sides of the blender cup. That's just because it's a thick boy. So we're going to get it out now, get it into the bowl. And as you can see there, it's filled up almost the entire bowl. It's just over half a liter of high protein ice cream. Now I like to make it a bit more interesting. This is an additional extra if you want to add it. I've just got some frozen berries that I left out for a bit. So I'm going to add those on top, as well as some more of that sugar-free maple syrup by Stevie's. And here we go, massive bowl of high protein, low calorie ice cream. And it only took under 5 minutes. Now it is optional to either have it straight away or leave it in the freezer, which I recommend for about 30 minutes to an hour before digging in. Macros will be up on the screen when I check back in with you guys in just a sec. And there you have it guys, massive bowl of high protein, low carb, low fat protein ice cream. I'd say it's about just over half a liter. So yeah, half a liter of protein ice cream. I'm gonna have the calories and macros up on the screen in just a sec. But yeah, it's probably just about 200 calories or so, about 25 grams of protein, maybe 1 to 2 grams of carbs, 1 to 2 grams of fat. Not including the berries if you add that on top. I usually don't, just did it for the video. And just a pro tip, if you're not gonna have it straight away, I'd actually recommend putting it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour. But yeah, keeping it in there for a bit just makes it a bit more thicker and creamy. If you add something like the xanthan gum I mentioned before, that can make it a bit more thicker and fluffy. But yeah, I'm about to down this right now with my next meal. Simple video, here we go. Sensei Swole's high protein ice cream, tiramisu edition with some choc honeycomb. Hope you guys liked the video. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Sensei Swole, checking out.